Hello, my more brothers. Back again. And of course, the topic of the day is Umar Johnson, right? Going in on who else but Kevin Samuels, the target du jour, right? Strange that nobody was going in on Kevin Samuels, when he had, 50,000 followers or even 30,000. When I first picked up on it, 4 or 5 years ago. Strange how that happens, right? You get close to 1 million subs or subscribers and you're getting ready to break the bank, and people have a whole lot to say out of nowhere, right? The Black Manosphere has been around for about 15, 16 years, and you just now discovering them. SYSBM, that to my knowledge, has been around a good 7 years. You just now noticing them. Anyway, Umar, I just want to holler at you for a minute. Now, we both put time in the Black community. We both put time in the conscious community. Okay, we done sat in on the meetings. We sat in on the book studies. We gone to the rallies. We put in our dollars. We've made suggestions. We've made contributions over many, many, many years. We've got out and marched, got out and protested. We here in Los Angeles when they wanted to take Black Liberation Weekend away from us, from the Black people, KPFK, from Dr. Kwaku out here in Long Beach. We rallied, we petitioned. When Larry Elder was going in on Black people, we're the ones that chased him out of LA. So we all put in our time. And that's just the bona fides of, if you look it up, really, you know my voice. So you know that I'm not bullshitting, okay? When I'm saying brother to brother, what you're doing here, what you're going in on Black men, especially going in on Kevin, when you know what the hell he's saying is correct, that's the problem. You know what he's saying is correct. And you going in on 12 so-called beta male dating coaches. Come on, man. You calling them beta males, and you're the one that got caught with the conscious stripper, remember that? And a few other compromising situations that you came out of pocket for, trying to advise Black men on Black relationships. That you need to stick to your field of expertise. Now, as far as education and being a Black school psychologist, excellent work. Can't fault you. I've spoken to you several times. Everything you say as far as education and the plight of Black children in this school system, 100%. Nobody can question your bona fides. From everybody that I've talked to that's been in that work, that's been on the ground, that's done the work, will actually tell you, if you want to talk about Black children in the school system, especially Black boys, you go to Dr. J. You go to Dr. Umar or even Dr. T. They're experts in this freaking field. Can't question it. But as far as you dating, get in the dating world, get into the relationship world, bruh, come on, man. No. And trying to go in and trying to shame the Black manosphere of all groups, when we know that brother to brother, inside the conscious community, especially inside the conscious community, all the manosphere is saying is what y'all don't say in public. That's all. Because we get some libations and get a little herb and we sit there and shoot the shit. You have the same problems that we do. And we know that you do, because you ain't married and you're a baby daddy to two different kids by two different women. You do the same shit that everybody else does, man. Same shit that you claim that beta males do. Same stuff. Which is why another brother, which I don't particularly care for, but at the very least, he's married and he's been married for 20 some odd years with his 5 kids. He goes in on you because he says that some of the information that you put out is not exactly genuine. And normally this is inside stuff that we don't come out and air dirty laundry, which is why you need to stay in your lane. Because that brother that I'm talking about, he just went in on you. He's been going in on you for like 2 years. He just went in on you about a week ago about you claiming about, as far as relationships, you're not the person that you say that you are. And that's the inside joke. And normally we keep this stuff on the inside and we don't talk about it, right? But the thing is, you want to cross over into a lane that you don't belong. The thing is that you're afraid of Kevin. You're not afraid of Kevin because he's talking about sisters. Let's cut the shit right here and there. You're not afraid of Kevin because what he says is correct. You're not afraid about the average woman, the average sister, especially the average conscious community sister, or the average Black woman. You're not afraid of that. You're afraid that Kevin has the ear of the brothers that you need, the brothers with cash, the brothers with the education, the upscale brothers. And that stuff is filtering down to the educated brothers. And them brothers are ready to jump ship. That's what you're afraid of. You see it. If you're an educated, you walking on school grounds and you see what's going on down there. That them black boys are not messing with them black girls anymore. And the black community is going to lose its integrity. That's what you're afraid of. Why? Because I'm afraid of the same thing. But the difference between me and you is I'm willing to tell the truth. That's the difference between me and you. Yeah, we love our people. Yeah, we want to see our community progress. Yeah, we want to see our community whole. But the difference between me and you is I tell the truth. And it, just like everybody else on that side of the wall, because you're afraid of black women, because you know that you can be canceled and you won't have a career. Just like everybody else on that side of the wall, which normally I don't have a problem with. I know that you got to make your money, and I know that you have to kiss the ring of the gynocracy. You just do, because that's where the money flows through, and everybody knows it. And I think my brothers in the conscious community that are doing good work should be rewarded. I don't think they should die broke. So that's like I don't even comment on them. I might not agree with them, but the thing is, I know how the get down is and how everybody got to make their living. So I very seldom even comment on stuff like this. But bruh, one time is fine. Okay, 2 times it's kind of shaky. The 3rd time, okay, I got to say something, because you're out of order, man. You don't belong on this side. You need to stay in your lane and stay on your side of the fence, because ain't nobody bothering you. You're coming to pick a fight that you're not going to win, because all you're going to do is expose all the other bullshit that's on that side of the wall, man, that we don't want to talk about. And you know it. You need to leave it alone. You need to back off. You need to go back and do your thing. You need to go back in education and fight for these boys, because that is what's critical. That's where you need it. You don't need to be on the side pandering to women. You need to be fighting for your mission is to save these black boys in this educational system, because only 10% of black boys can read at reading level in 8th grade. That's your focus. All this other garbage that you're going back and forth with doesn't even need to be said. You need to be up on the Capitol talking to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris about getting stuff done for these black boys. You need to be going from state to state and city to city to get single-sex education for these black boys. That's what you need to do, because your dating life and your love life is a personal wreck, and everybody knows it because it's been put on blast more than a few times. And the same women that you're trying to protect are the same women that put you on Front Street. And when them women drug you through the mud and put you on Front Street and was dragging your name through the mud, it's the brothers. It wasn't the women, it was the brothers that came to your aid and came to your defense. And now you want to jump on the black manosphere because they're willing to air their grievances. They have a right to air their grievances. It's about time. Everybody wants black men to shut the hell up and get back in the closet. From the white man to all the way down to your own goddamn woman. And guess what? It ain't gonna happen. And all people like you are doing is making it worse. Because I talk to you brothers. Me and Dr. J talk to you brothers all the goddamn time, right? And we always get those emails. We always get those phone calls. We always hear these brothers. Like when we click off the broadcast and we're off air and we're chopping it up behind the scenes and we talking about our relationships, is all the same. Everything that you hear in the black manosphere about the sisters is all true. The only thing is you don't want it to be said public. How dare you call black males in this sector beta males? How dare you? You don't talk about the flaws of them sisters, or how mean they are, or how in reverse order they are, or how the failure of these black mothers not keeping their sons, not even reading to their sons. You know doggone well, if black mothers would read to their sons 30 minutes a day, half these problems would go away. If them same black women, regardless of the station, would show up at the PTA meeting at least once a year, once or twice a year, half these problems you have with these black boys would go away. You should be down at the school board in Philly and Baltimore, okay? You shouldn't even talk about this. When they had that story about that kid failing 90% of his classes in Baltimore, that's where you should have been. Leave the black manosphere alone. It was a small sector, but guess what? You know what? You're going to make it grow anyway. I said the black manosphere was going to go mainstream, and it is. And basically all the grievances that black men have are going to be aired out in public, front and center. And whether it's something's done about it or not, it's going to be front and center, and everybody's going to know about it. The very thing that black people fear, that black women fear, and the conscious community fears, and pro-black sector fears, is that black men will come out and actually air their grievances about their own women. And there's nothing that they can do about it. There's nothing that you can do about it. There's nothing that Derek Jackson can do about it. Absolutely nothing. And Kevin Samuels is just the tip of the spear. You think Kevin Samuels is the whole spear. Kevin Samuels is just the tip of the spear, brother. And you don't want the shaft. Because you think that they're basement dwellers, or as you call it, basement dweller incels. Nah, you know better. These are cats with masters and PhDs. These are guys that are corporate with corporate gigs that make $80 to $90 to $200,000 a year with clout. And the only difference is they haven't said anything. They haven't said anything yet. Keep it up. You're going to find exactly how many brothers they're willing to band together and do something because they're tired. They're tired of this. The young people, the young guys are tired of this. Why? Because everybody does everything except do what? Get the black women in order. Because you know good and goddamn well, these black women, especially young black women, are well out of order. We've been complaining about the abortion statistics, the out of wedlock stats, black women breaking up their marriages. We've been complaining about that shit for years. For years. But you guys bury that. You know that they've been undereducating these black boys for years. And you know the biggest culprit beside the school system is the black mother that raises them, which is why you're trying to start a boys' school, because Monahan said that, 50 years ago. The very people that fight against is your own black woman. My brother's keeper, started by Barack Obama, who's no friend of the black man at all. The very people that try to kill that initiative were black women. You know this. You work with these people. You're in intelligentsia. You know how this stuff works. And to sit up here and pander, and not have the good sense to actually check the brother out and check out what's going on and really get into it, you're going to try to have a publicity campaign against the manosphere. Call them out by name. They all have live streams. They would love to have you on. If you want to debate them, if you want to debate Kevin Samuels, he has live streams 4 or 5 nights a week. Call up. He would love to have you on if you have the guts. I don't think you do, because your personal life will get exposed. Your personal life will get exposed. And trust and believe, there's a whole bunch of people, whole bunch of the Management brothers in Philly that know who you are and know your get down. So basically, your hands and your shoes ain't clean, bro. That's one thing. You get on social media, you have to be who you are. And this is not the side you want to cross over onto. Okay? I'm telling you right now, you're in the chitlin circuit. You're in the conscious community chitlin circuit. That's relatively safe because you know what the rules are over there. Everybody knows what the rules are over there. The rules over there aren't the same rules that are over here. And you don't want to get listed by in social media by all these brothers over here. Not the black brothers, because trust and believe, you think that the conscious community is small over here, and trust and believe, bro, it's not. They're just not saying anything. You need to stay in your lane. You need to stay on your mission, and you need to leave this alone. If you really want to make amends, you need to go back and marry one of those 2 women that you had babies by, and stop trying to shame brothers for doing the exact same thing that you did for the exact same reasons. Because I'm sure whatever happened in your relationships, it didn't work. I'm sure those are black women, and you know exactly what's going on, man. So stop fronting. We know who that black woman is, and we know exactly what she is, and in spite of it, believe it or not, even in the manosphere, in spite of her defects and her shortcomings, black men still have love for black women. Even the ones that cross over, and marry Becky or Sue Lynn or Maria, even then they still have love for black women. And over here, we're trying to work out the relationship that we have with our women, from one man to the next. And I can't tell you how many counseling sessions that we have done for free on this air, how many lives that we have saved, because some brother dealing with a black woman that has issues just wanted to off himself or do something to himself or do something crazy. And the thing is, what I don't understand is you brothers on the other side, from the outside, don't want to come over here and engage with the brothers over here because you think you're too good. Really what it is that, you know, if you get over here and you start talking to the brothers, you start relating stories, you're going to turn. And you know, once you go march down that path and you turn and you start hearing truth and they start relating your stories and relating their truths to you, all of a sudden you're going to sympathize. And that's what you don't want to do, which is why Boyce Watkins don't come over here and talk about the manosphere anymore, which is why Boyce Watkins actually checked out Cameron Samuels and checked out his work and find out like 90% of what he says is true. Nobody's perfect. God knows Kevin, just like everybody else, has his issues. And like I was telling other brothers that got coached by Kevin Samuels, every coach is not right for every man. And for every story that you heard that Kevin didn't help a guy, I know 5 where he did. Personally, I know 5 where he did. Personally, I pointed at least 50 guys to Kevin. And personally, you know what Kevin is saying is 100% correct. 100%. You just don't like the way he says it because you think that all black women need to get carrot instead of that stick. And we know that carrot has not worked for 50 years because they ain't changing. They're getting worse. You know it because you're on the playground with them. You're in the offices with them. You see our women getting more and more aggressive and more violent. Just like Ma'Khia Bryant going after those 2 girls with the doggone knife in front of police. That's our black women not getting better, getting worse. And if you really want to work on it, you really want to save the black community, if you really want to save it, that's where you should focus your attention. Instead of trying to convince brothers to once again come in and save the black community, even though you know good and goddamn well we saved the black community back in the 1980s because brothers, when a lot of them brothers went to jail for taking prison chances, and a lot of them brothers got cracked out on that plague that the white people sent into this community. There was a whole lot of brothers that stepped up and were stepdaddies to those kids and bailed out this community, bailed them out. But that can only happen once. And if the sisters don't come together and get their act together, it's not going to happen again. And that's what you're afraid of. Everybody sees it. Everybody sees that light at the end of the tunnel is not good for the black community. The remedy for saving the black community is changing the women. It ain't changing the men. You know it and everybody else knows it. But you also know that our women are not going to change. And they're definitely not going to change fast enough if you guys keep trying to rub their hand and call them queens. Even the black women know it. That's how come they're piling in over on Kevin Samuels' station. Because all the stuff that you guys telling them, all that mealy mouth soft stuff is not working. Because if it did, you'd be making multi-million dollars. You wouldn't have to beg for donations for your school. If you really want to help, make that school for girls. If you really want to help, fight for single-sex education for boys and girls so that the women can train the women and get these women together and acting the way they're supposed to in the correct manner, according to black and African principles, also according to nature, and get the boys straight. If you really want to do something, use your expertise for good and stop trying to pander to these chicks, especially when you know it's not going to do any good. Brother to brother, you're out of order, man. Brother to brother, all you're doing is spreading this. And all really you're going to do at the end of the day, you're trying to nix this in the bud. All you're going to do is make it worse. Basically, because you're going to bring them brothers over there on this side, they're going to find out that what we're saying is 100% correct, and they're going to change. They're going to cross over. They already started. And the wave is just going to get worse. But anyway, I've ranted on this way too long. And I may have a part 2. I don't know. But right now, that's all I got for you brothers. BGS out, and I'll see you guys on the next.